For being here. Welcome to Mystic Fitness. We're on Victory Field this morning. I have a nice group of people here today that we're going to flow together. Thank you for being a part of our outdoor series. Me and Amy were getting a little nostalgic over the last couple months, over what's been happening, and we both agreed that we've so enjoyed being outside and doing yoga, and it forced us out of our little comfort zone of being within the studio and encouraged us to go outside and experience building a new community. And we're just so thankful that you guys have been there along for this journey with us. And I say this because our last outdoor class is this Friday morning. That will be the last outdoor class of the season. So Saturday morning forward, we'll be going inside. We're going to maintain our virtual morning classes at 9 a.m. every morning, but we will be bringing everything inside. It's just getting too cold. The New England weather is starting to actually creep in. So hopefully when spring emerges, we'll be able to get back out here and have the same beautiful classes that we had inside. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Find a comfortable position on your mat, whether you want to be seated or perhaps laying down. Take a couple moments to just get yourself settled in, especially if you're practicing outside, perhaps taking your shoes off, making sure that you have a dry spot on your mat. Ugh. Just starting by taking a couple deep breaths in and out. Perhaps allowing your eyes to close. Trying to take big, full breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Letting all of the sounds around you to become part of your experience. So rather than trying to stop the thoughts from coming in, trying to make peace with the thoughts coming in, and just letting them flow through you, just like the sounds around you, just like the breeze. This everlasting flow of life. And the breath that we acquire is almost like a little reset button that we can click whenever we so choose. And that reset button can be taken as many times as you need throughout the day. And it's as simple as setting an intention with your next inhale and exhale. Allowing this process of re-engaging into the present moment. So anytime you become lost within a thought of the future or past, we can identify this and take that reset of a breath. Kind of taking back that power. Trying to keep ourselves grounded. Take 5 more intentional deep breaths here, in and out. On your next breath in, slowly start to wiggle the fingers and toes Perhaps taking some little side-to-side movements through the neck, or whether you're seated or laying, taking any little movements, growing the spine nice and tall. Maybe the arms reach up overhead, finding a full body stretch. And taking the next couple moments to bring yourself up into a seated position if you're not already there. We'll start practice together by bringing our hands over our heart, allowing the eyes to remain closed, spine is tall. And this time of year, we have this beautiful reminder of looking at the trees to notice that change is inevitable. And it's not something we should fear. Just like the trees do not fear losing their leaves. They just let them float off whenever they're ready to descend back to the earth. Taking this with us for the next hour of our practice, trying to connect to that transformation and pull it out of ourselves as well. We'll begin class with the single sound of Om, starting with the cleansing breath, breathing in and out. And for Om, inhale. Have a beautiful class. With the inhale, circle sweep those arms up to the sky. Find a nice full extension. Maybe your gaze follows. Start to rotate the wrists. Wow, we even got a little blue sky above us right now. Just creating little circles. Maybe opening and closing the fingers, opening and closing the palms. Especially when we're practicing outside on a little bit softer surface, it can be a little bit more challenging on the wrists, so make sure you shake them out. Know that you can always shake them out throughout class as well, if they become sore or tender. Opening your arms into a big T, spreading the fingers, and then just dropping one ear down and then the other ear down. Maybe your fingers reach a little bit more towards the ground, making this a little bit more intense. Trying to keep that chest pulled open, palms facing forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And then with the exhale, bring the arms into goalposts, tucking the elbows towards the rib cage. Inhale, big sweep up. And exhale, elbows to the rib cage. One more time, in and out. This time, bringing the palms up in front of you, almost like you're carrying a dinner tray. And we'll keep the elbows tucked right into the rib cage, and then just start to open the palms out, trying to keep those elbows towards the rib cage, and then back to where they started. So the inhale, opening those arms up. You can even bring your gaze towards the ground to keep the neck nice and long. And exhale, hands come together. This is opening up through your chest. So keep that chest open as the arms open. And then bring those arms back. Nice. One more time. Open it up. Feel the connection of your chest unwinding. And exhale, arms come together. Shake it up a little bit. And then we'll turn it into our tabletop position. So allow your knees to stack below the hips. Wrists below the shoulders. Inhale, dropping the chest, gazing forward. And with the exhale, curling and rounding into your spine as you press the floor away. So taking some cat and cows here. Arching with the inhales and rounding with the exhales. Letting this progression of movement just kind of start to open up through the vertebra of the spine, opening up the upper back and chest as well. Taking each breath through movement. Really pressing the floor away when you arch through that spine. You can even take this with the forearms on the ground or the knees spread a little bit more apart from one another. Perhaps tucking the toes under feels more supportive for your knees. And allowing this motion start to take on a little bit of organic rotation through the hips. So letting the hips rock from side to side to warm it up. Maybe the hips take some semicircles towards the back of your mat. Feeling that through the pelvic bowl. Perhaps once you start getting a little bit more warmed up, you can take those hip circles in full rotations one way, and then full rotations in the opposite direction. Feeling this through the outer hips, especially when you press to one side or the other. And then eventually letting this motion carry you into your child's pose. So letting yourself slink all the way back. Make sure you feel even on both sides. And then just bowing your head forward. Perhaps the arms reach long in front of you or behind you. Perhaps bringing a pillow or block underneath the hips or forehead. Just kind of feeling a little surrender towards the earth. Notice the vibration of the earth below you and the difference between the vibration of your own being, your own heart, your own breath. Feel the belly filling up with air as it presses down towards the earth. And then with the exhale, you can sink those hips back a little bit more. Reach the arms a little bit more forward if they're there. Take 2 more full breaths in and out. Slowly returning back up into your tabletop position. Dropping down onto the right forearm. And then lifting the left leg up and rotating the left leg a couple times in one direction and the other direction. So just creating some nice sweeping circles through the hips. Having to use a little bit of the glute strength to kind of keep that leg lifted. Take it in the opposite rotation when you're ready. And then let the left knee come to the ground, trade out the side. So that left forearm drops down, right knee starts to take some little circles in one direction and the other direction. That right hand is being used as a little bit of a kickstand so that you have more of a window to let that leg do a little movement. Take it in the opposite rotation. And eventually bringing the knees back to the ground, both hands below the shoulders. Extending the right leg behind you, flexing the foot so that the toes are turned down, the glute is on, and the heel is in line with the hip. If you feel balanced here, maybe that left arm starts to pull forward for a full extended table. Keeping your gaze towards the ground. Inhale, lengthen. With the exhale, pull elbow and knee into the chest. Squeeze and pull. Inhale, extend and open up. Exhale, squeeze it in. 3 more times. Inhale and exhale. Here's 2. Really squeezing through the abdominals and glute. And here's your last one. Squeeze it in. Finish it off by extending one more time and landing back in your tabletop position. Rock the hips from left to right a couple times. And then we'll take it on the other side. Come back to that nice flat back, hands below the shoulders, extending left leg behind you with the flexed foot, toes pointing down, heel in line with your hip. If and only if you feel balanced and secure, maybe that right arm reaches forward, actively pulling towards the front of the room and pressing for the back of the room with that back left foot. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, re-extend, use the glute strength. Exhale, curl it in. We have 3 more. In and out. Here's 2. And 1. Finishing it off as strongly as we started. Extending one more time. Hold it and squeeze. And exhale, tabletop position. Rock those hips from side to side once again. Feeling a little warmth in the body now. Coming back to a flat back, tuck those toes under and lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Start to pedal the feet here, bending and extending one foot at a time. One heel pressing down and then the other heel pressing down. Continue to walk your dog out, getting into the hamstrings. So when we practice on a little bit of a colder morning, we always want to give our warm-up a little bit more attention, knowing that our body isn't going to be able to go into those really intense postures right away. Let's continue warming up our body by taking some back and forth presses. So with the inhale, the hips lower to a hover, knees pull up and back. Exhale, pressing forward into your plank pose. Inhale, peel it up and back. Use those inner thighs. And with the exhale, extend forward, coming into that plank pose. Take a couple more presses here. Inhale, pressing back. Exhale, finding that strong plank. This can always be taken with the knees on the ground, alternating between a child's pose and a supported plank as well. So choose whichever one works best for you. There are pros and cons to each. Knowing your strength level, knowing where your body is at in this moment. The next time you come forward to that plank pose, hold strong here. Press the heels back. Pull your chest forward. Keep your gaze on the ground a little bit in front of you. Find a micro bend through those elbows. Breathe in. With the exhale, lower just the knees to the ground. Try to keep that same energy through your core as you slowly lower with the elbow pointing back. Inhale, find your low cobra, peel the chest up, engage the shoelace sides of the feet into the ground, elbows tucked in. Exhale, soften and relax. Let's find one more, low cobra. Inhale, peel it up. Hold there, squeeze the shoulders together, feel your belly pressing into the earth, and exhale, soften and relax. Pressing your way back up into your tabletop position, and then tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here, in and out. Continue to pedal out the feet a couple times. Feel the shoulders pulling down and away from the ears. Perhaps rocking of the hips a little left and right. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. With the exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Pausing here, getting used to that inversion, getting your deep hamstrings, perhaps grabbing onto opposite elbow, coming into a ragdoll position. Shake the head, yes, no, to release the neck. You can sway a little side to side to let the stretch transfer throughout different parts of your legs. Inhale for a halfway lift, bringing your fingertips towards the shins, pressing your crown forward. This is an active pose, belly pulls in. And exhale, soften. Inhale, press to the feet, slowly lift all the way up, reaching your fingertips to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart. Breathing in, breathing out. Making sure the feet are hip distance apart. With the inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. With the exhale, sit down into your chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Press the pelvis forward. Squeeze your glutes. Exhale, sitting back down into that chair pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chair. 5 more. In and out. Getting deeper and lower each time. Here's 4. 3. 2. Really press the hips forward. And last 1. Press it up. Exhale, take it down and hold there. Press the hips back. Feel your weight start to transfer into the heels. Maybe you take your hands to the outsides of the knees and press into the knees and hands pressing back. Sink those hips back, get a little bit lower. Feel the heat starting to build within your body for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift it up. Press those hips forward. Maybe the gaze follows fingertips. And with the exhale, hinging from the hips, finding a forward fold. Relaxing into it for a moment, letting the hips side to side a couple times, or maybe the head yes and no a couple times. Inhale to that strong halfway lift, fingertips towards the shins. Exhale, hands plant, stepping back into your plank pose. In your plank pose, this is a strong pose. Pull the chest forward. Be proud of your plank. Press the heels back. Choosing to stay here or let those knees lower, taking a modified plank pose. Breathing in. With the exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog or that low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths in, 2 breaths out. Inhale, right leg, sweep it up to the sky. With the exhale, pull the knee into the chest, squeeze and hover. Inhale, reach right toes back up. Exhale, right foot towards right thumb, coming into your runner's lunge. Pausing and dropping that back left knee to the ground and taking some back and forth presses just a couple times. Inhales, pressing the hips back, elongating through the right hamstring. Exhales, pressing forward, getting into that left hip flexor. So just taking a couple here, back and forth, back and forth. Remembering that it is that cold morning we're trying to warm our bodies up into, so working with the elements rather than trying to work against them. Coming back up into a low lunge, so pressing your way up, keeping that left knee on the ground. You want the left knee stacked right under your hip. So we're not coming into this really deep lunge. We're coming into a more stacked position. That way I can press my right foot into the ground and squeeze my left glute. Inhale, both arms sweep up. With the exhale, bringing right hand down to right hip, crossing left arm up and across right thigh. So finding this twist here. Hey, morning. Perhaps reaching the right fingertips toward the back of the room. Now, did you forget about that left glute? Let's squeeze left glute to keep those hips nice and level. Allow this twist to come from left rib cage, turning to face the right side of your room. Breathe in, lengthen through your crown. Breathe out, twist. One more time. Inhale, lengthen it up. Exhale, twist it out. Coming back to center, bringing your hands to your heart for a little bit of a challenge. If you need to interlace hands on top of right thigh, you can as well. Let's tuck those left toes under and press your way up into a crescent lunge. You might need to walk that back left foot a hop forward. Make sure the feet are hip distance apart and find a little bend to that back left knee. Now here's what we're going to go for next. We're going to go for little teeny tiny micro movements. So sink the hips a little bit lower, bring your hands to your heart and pulse a little tiny twist to the right. So we're doing it nice and small because then we have to use the obliques to twist our body. So those hips are staying forward. The only thing that's twisting is our upper body from the belly button up. Now sink those hips a little lower, you guys. Challenge yourself here. Feel that weight transferring into the front right foot and ball of left foot. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift all the way up. Lengthen through your crescent lunge. With the exhale, dial left foot down. Open up to your warrior 2 position. Take a moment to readjust your feet into that warrior 2 position. Right toes are facing forward, back edge of that left foot pressing for the back of your mat. It's very common for us to want to kind of press the hips into that left leg. Try to dial the hips down as if they're pointing into the earth. Inhale, lengthen through right leg. Bring the fingertips up over your head. With the exhale, open back up, warrior 2. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Maybe you rock onto the right heel. Exhale, warrior 2. Couple more times here. Inhale and exhale. Last time, lift it up. Exhale, find that warrior 2 position. Hold strong. Flipping right palm, inhale, reverse your warrior and hold here. So the right fingertips reaching up to the sky and then over your head, finding that little side opening through the right side body. Check in with right foot. Notice if it lost that bend. Try to keep that bend through the foot. Now relax right shoulder. Dial right rib cage over towards the front of the room. Breathe it in. And with the exhale, bring it down to your side angle, letting that right forearm drop towards right inner thigh. If you need a little bit of shelf of support, you can always bring that right forearm on top of the thigh. Rotate that left arm a couple times in one direction like you're strumming a big guitar. And then in the other direction, keep pressing away with that back edge of the left foot. Notice if your hips are pressing a little bit back, try to tuck them underneath the body. So as if your hips and shoulders could touch the wall behind you. Find your best version of your side angle, either reaching those left fingertips up to the sky or perhaps finding a little half bind. That left arm reaches back and down for right hip. If you're looking for even more of a challenge this morning, get your body even warmer, reach the right fingertips towards the front of the room, requiring to use all of your abdominal strength, pressing the feet into the earth. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reverse your warrior, lengthen through right leg, maybe rock onto the heel. With the exhale, cartwheel, hands down, coming into your runner's lunge. Hands plant, right foot steps back to meet left plank pose. Dial the heels over towards the left, reaching right palm up to the sky, finding a side plank. You can always take that left knee to the ground for a more supported variation here. Keep pressing the hips up. Challenge yourself beyond your level of comfort. Press those hips up for 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands down. We're going to finish it off by taking our plank to the other side. Press the heels over to the right. Reach the left arm up to the sky. You can always take that right knee to the ground as a modification. Here's 3. Press those hips up for 2 and 1. Coming all the way back to your full plank. Drop those knees to the ground and slowly lower all the way. Chaturanga. Inhale, coming back to that low cobra. Peel the chest up. Palms on the earth. Elbows tucked in. And lower. Finding one more low cobra here, you guys. Inhale, lift it up. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the thighs. Pull your chest forward. And relax. Coming back up to your table pose, and then tucking the toes under, hips pull up and back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here, in and out. Inhale, left leg, big sweep up to the sky. With the exhale, knee to chest, squeeze, pull. Inhale, big sweep up. Exhale, come to that runner's lunge. Pull left foot towards left thumb. We'll start by dropping the right knee onto the ground and taking those back and forth presses here. So inhales, lengthening yourself back, feeling that opening through left hamstring. Exhale, pressing the hips forward, getting into that right hip flexor. We might even get a little today. Wow. Maybe. If it burns through the clouds. Taking those nice movements back and forth, getting our body ready to hold some more of those intense lunges. If we have healthy hamstrings, a healthy lower back. Let's come up into your low lunge. So remember, we're not going for this hip opener lunge. We're going for a more muscular pose where we're using the muscular system by pressing left foot into the ground and squeezing right glute. Inhale, both arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, bringing that left hand down towards left hip and then crossing right arm up and over left thigh. Perhaps that left arm starts to reach back. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, twisting. Now squeeze that right glute. Don't forget about the glutes here. Keep those hips facing forward and that right rib cage twisting and turning towards the left side. Last big inhale. And exhale. Turning all the way back to center. Now here's that challenge, either bringing your hands to your heart or stacking your hands on top of left thigh for a little support. Tuck the right toes under and press up, crescent lunge. Readjust yourself. Maybe the foot needs to walk a little bit more forward. Bend through that right knee. With your hands at your heart, find a deep, healthy bend, and then start to pulse that twist over to the left side. Now go nice and slow to keep those hips forward. The only thing twisting is from the belly button up. Twist, twist, pulse, pulse. Now sink those knees a little lower. Bend into that squat. Keep twisting. This is temporary. You can challenge yourself a little more. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift up, lengthen through those legs. Give yourself a little break. With the exhale, dial right heel down, open up to your warrior 2. Again, you can readjust through the legs so that you find comfort in your warrior 2. Find that stability. Left toes facing forward, back edge of that right foot to the back of your mat. Now notice if those hips are pressing to the right, try to tuck them right below the shoulder line. Open your arms into a T. Inhale, lengthen through left leg, arms come up overhead. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, again, lengthening it up. Maybe you rock onto left heel. Exhale, warrior 2. Take a couple more here. Inhale, breathe in that fresh air as you lift up. Exhale, warrior 2. So make this breath just as exciting as it is. This breath bearing life to us. We get so used to it. It's always with us. And it wants to be heard. It wants to be seen. Eventually returning back to your strongest warrior 2 yet. Keep the legs exactly where they are. Flip left palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Relax that left shoulder down and away from your ears. Feel the opening through the left side body without collapsing right side body. So pull that chest up and then over. Now rotate left rib cage a little bit more towards the front. Breathing in. With the exhale, taking it down to your side angle. Holding there, letting your left wrist come towards left knee, or perhaps bringing your forearm on top of left thigh. Start to rotate right arm a couple times in one direction, like you're strumming this big guitar, unwinding all of the connective tissue within the shoulder, chest, and upper back. Take it in the opposite rotation, distracting yourself a little bit from your legs. And then tuning right into it. So finding that side angle that suits you best. Press down through that right hip. Press down through left foot. Rotate left rib cage towards the front a little bit more. Maybe that left arm reaches forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, reverse that warrior, lengthen through left leg. And exhale, cartwheel, hands down to your runner's lunge. Hands plant, left foot steps back to meet right. Plank pose here. Inhale and exhale. In and out. Stay with one more inhale together. With the exhale, find your chaturanga. Slowly lower to your degree. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And exhale, yogi's choice to either take a downward facing dog or find a quick little pit stop here to grab a drink of water. Maybe take off a layer or put a layer back on depending on how warm you're getting. Yeah, I think we're bringing the sun out, you guys. What do you say? I think all this blue sky is coming for us. I've been doing this thing lately too whenever I feel like I'm cold, trying to put my body temperature, if it was just right here in the center of my chest, and realizing that I'm really not that cold because my chest and my heart are still warm. Maybe it's just a mind trick. We'll continue back in our downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet a couple times, get situated in this posture. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly circle, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Grounding down through the feet, finding a spot on your mat where you have a little bit of balance, where you can start to transfer the weight into that standing right leg. Pulling left knee into the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze. Perhaps rotating left ankle. And then taking left ankle and crossing it over right thigh to come into a figure 4. So get yourself situated through this posture. You can have your hands at heart. You can stay right here, or you can pulse up and down a couple times here. So just getting into that single leg, that right leg glute. Woo, balance might be a little tricky. That's okay. Reset yourself just like we can reset with breath. We can do that with our body. Now, after a couple pulses, try to hold the lowest pulse you got. So sinking those hips down. Hands can stay at heart. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hold for 3 more seconds here. Here's 2 and 1. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up. Take left foot back to the ground. Find a full body stretch. And then with the exhale, pull hands to heart. Taking right knee up to the chest without moving your hands. So just finding that single leg little pull. And then extending right foot back, coming into a warrior 3 position. So leaning your chest forward, a flexed right foot will ensure that that right glute is engaged. If balance is tricky, bring your hands interlaced on top of left thigh. Use that as a place where you can kind of push a little bit of your weight. Dial right hip down, squeeze that glute. Keep your crown pulling forward. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Landing in that crescent lunge position, back right toes to the back of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms up, lengthen through the leg. With the exhale, dial right heel down, opening up to your warrior 2. We'll come right into that goddess pose. So the heels come in, toes come out, and just pulse up and down a couple times, perhaps even keeping your hands on your thighs or hips. And just kind of notice how this is changing the posture for you. So the lower you go, the more of a stretch you're going to feel through your hip flexors. And you want to find that happy spot right in the center, right in the middle, where you can keep those glutes turned on and squeezed without putting too much pressure on the hip flexors. So those heels are pressing into the earth. Bringing your arms up behind your head, interlacing the fingers, and then just pulsing the left shoulder or left elbow down, and then right elbow down. So going nice and slow here so that we can use the obliques rather than momentum to make this happen. So as the elbows drop to the left, you're squeezing left side of the body. As your elbows drop to the right, squeeze right side of your body. Sink those hips a little lower now. Challenge yourself. Go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, circle sweep the arms, reach up, press the feet into the feet, lengthening the legs, turn the toes in, arms go out into a T, and then finding a wide-legged forward fold. Letting yourself hinge forward. This is going to be your pose for the next 5 breaths, so perhaps taking some little side-to-side movement. Maybe just holding down through the center, rolling a little bit more of your weight into the toes. And perhaps you can gaze through your legs, and the trees look really cool in this direction. Kind of a shift of perspective. Take one more full round of breath here. And then walking hands towards left foot, coming back to your runner's lunge. Hands plant, left foot steps back to meet right, plank pose. Breathe in. With the exhale, find your chaturanga, slowly lower. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths in and out. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly press into the feet, circle sweep the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. This time grounding down through the left foot, finding a position where you can hold that. Picking right knee and pulling it up to the chest, giving it a squeeze. Perhaps a little rotation through right ankle. And then crossing right ankle over left thigh, coming into your figure 4. Before going anywhere, get yourself situated. Bring your hands to your heart. If you feel comfortable taking a couple little pulses up and down, you go for it. Challenge yourself. Maybe it's just one pulse and then you're like, okay, I did it. I got the one pulse in and now I'm just going to coast the rest of this posture. That's cool too, you guys. The point is about the journey, not about the destination. The next time you sink, hold there. Squeezing left glute, feeling that little bit of quivering on left thigh and leg. Pressing the hips down and back a little bit more. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly and with control, press your way back up. Step right foot next to left foot. Inhale, arms reach up, reset, grow tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Lifting left leg up towards the chest. Let it hover there. Flex left foot. On the exhale, start to reach your chest forward and lengthen flexed left foot behind you. Whoa, there's that sun. Nice. Flex that left foot. Dial the left hip down. Keep your chest pulling forward. If balance is an issue, interlace hands on top of right thigh. Press some of your weight there. Keep reaching forward and extending backward. Hold and squeeze. This is temporary. This pose is almost over. Can you squeeze for 1 more second? Let that left foot land to the back of your mat. Find a crescent lunge. Reach the arms up. Exhale, dial left heel down, open up to your warrior two, and come right back into that goddess pose. So the heels come in, toes come out. Here's our last little push here, you guys. Sink those hips down to the lowest degree. Find a hand placement that feels good for you, either hands at heart, maybe open in a T, maybe you find a mudra. Notice if those hips are pressing back. Tuck the hips below the shoulder line. Sink a little bit lower. Hold here. Pressing those heels into the earth. Feel the little quivering in your body. That shows how strong you truly are. Hold and breathe. Sink a little bit lower. Inhale, arms reach up. Turn the toes in. Exhale, open the arms into a T. Perhaps you interlace them behind your lower back and open up your chest. Exhale, hinging forward, finding at forward fold. If your fingers are still interlaced, you can reach the knuckles up as if they're trying to touch the sky. Holding here for a couple breaths. Feeling that tremendous lengthening through the hamstrings, opening through the hip flexors. Spine might even be parallel to the perpendicular to the floor beneath you. Hold for one more breath. If you have those interlaced fingers, start to release them back to the earth. Walking hands over towards right foot, coming back to runner's lunge. Hands plant, right foot steps back to meet left, plank pose. Drop down onto the forearm. Come into your forearm plank. Pull the chest forward. Keep your palms open. We got this, you guys. Keep that chest pulling forward. Press the heels back. Know that the knees can always come to the ground, but you're going to hold here for one more breath. Breathe in. Let it go. Awesome. Drop those knees to the ground, coming into a Sphinx pose, pulling the chest through that little window of the elbows. Perhaps taking a couple little micro movements through the neck. Feeling the abdominals be pulled open here. And when you're ready, relaxing onto your belly, letting one ear come to the mat. You can bend the knees and windshield wiper feet from side to side a couple times if you choose. Take your opposite ear to the mat to get an even stretch through the neck. Coming into a quad stretch, so keeping the left leg lengthened down your mat. Perhaps taking the left forearm underneath the head as a little pillow. Bending right knee and grabbing hold of right foot or ankle. Now imagine I am here to assist you by grabbing onto your right thigh and just lengthening and pulling the right thigh towards the end of your mat. So lengthening that knee all the way down. Keeping in mind that the quads are one of the largest muscle groups we have in our bodies, so we need to make sure that we lengthen them often, especially if you're doing a lot of walking or running. Find one more full round of breath. And then release out of it, lengthening that right leg down, changing out your sides. So perhaps bringing the right forearm underneath the head, bending left knee, grabbing foot or ankle. Coming back to that sensation of my hands being on left thigh and pulling left thigh all the way down, lengthening that quadricep. Try not to hold your breath here. Let it be heard. Let it be natural. And then lengthening it all the way back down. Perhaps you bend the knees and let them windshield wiper one more time. Left to right, left to right. It's great for the lower back. Lengthening the legs back down and pressing your way back up into your tabletop position. Taking a couple of breaths there, maybe some rocking of the hips side to side or some cat and cows. Perhaps finding a quick little child's pose. And our next destination will be pigeon pose. So if you prefer to take a half pigeon in a prone position, you'll find the toes tuck underneath you and you find a downward facing dog. If you want to take a figure 4, which we took balancing today, you can take that reclined on your backs. Whenever you're ready, the right leg is going to pull towards right wrist, right knee towards right wrist, and that right thigh becomes parallel to the long edge of the mat. Know that you can take a block underneath right glute, and you can also open up left knee out to the left, coming into a more seated, kind of upright position. Wherever you're at, take a couple breaths to kind of get yourself situated. And eventually you'll hinge forward, relax into it even more. Notice if you're holding any tension through the jaw. Try to relax the jaw. Are you being stingy with those exhales? Let them just completely soften your entire being. Don't let any of it be constricted. Let it all out of your system. When we hold really deep postures like this, we're taking an opportunity to release any trauma that becomes stored within our physical body. For instance, this pose is opening up our hips, which is associated with our root chakra.